The Non-Experts podcast was made possible by KCLC and Lindenwood University.
However, the opinions expressed on this show do not reflect those of the university.
Hey, guess what?
What?
We have an Instagram now.
Say what?
Yeah, we have an Instagram.
Hashtag social media presence. Trying to beef it up.
Trying to get out there, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, so you can check us out on Instagram at Non-Experts Podcast. Just search that in your little app.
Search that in your little thing.
Truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface for Halloween, or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween. Like, back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
Oh, hi. Boy, am I glad to see you because no one seems to be paying any attention to me today.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
We were on a break!
You know, Ross, why don't you just put that on your answering machine?
I'm Romero.
And I'm Chris.
And we're the non-experts.
We're not therapists.
Or lawyers.
Or firefighters.
We don't have any licenses or degrees.
So join us as we talk about news and pop culture and say whatever we want.
Because we're the non-experts.
See, you do better. You have a deeper voice than I do.
That's a first, because amongst a lot of my friends, don't really have that deep of a voice. But then it's funny because the ones with the deep voice can never get as deep as I can. We must go deeper.
So this spooky holiday's coming up.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be fun if we talked about some of our favorite scary movies. Doesn't have to, relate to Halloween or anything like that, but, your favorite horror movies or favorite scary movies, something like that,
Well, speaking of scary, another way people use scary is when talking about someone that is scared of things. You know who generally is scared of things?
You?
Me. I've never really been a scary movie fan, partially because I don't really enjoy being scared. It's not. I've never understood the thrill of, I can't wait to be scared and piss my pants. Like, no, I'm okay. I'll let my pants stay dry, thank you. And also, they tend to be very gory, and I'm not a very violent or gory person. That stuff is too over the top for me. So I saw it last year. Took my little cousins because my curiosity was way too piqued. And realistically, not that scary. So it's funny, a lot of scary movies you watch don't end up really being that scary in some cases.
Yeah.
It's like It. I watched a Paranormal Activity before, and I thought it was actually kind of like hilarious because people are getting snatched around. You're like,
oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to pick one, and it's really lame, it would have to be Jeepers Creepers. It's so lame, right? Because it's like, really? But like, listen, not being a scary movie person and it being on TV, one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and watch it. And this was probably like in middle school or something. So we're still using house phones. And I called my friend. I was like, hey, Katie, let's watch this. So we're both watching it. And I was like a couple of seconds ahead of her. So at one point I was like, ah! And it had just happened for her. And she was like, yeah. But like, I love Jeepers Creepers. Like it's as corny as it is and as bad as it is as far as effects and everything because it's so old. It's a solid film.
It's funny that you say Jeepers Creepers because that reminds me in second grade, my teacher, like that would be a phrase that she would use, when she'd be like, wow, you guys are being so loud, Jeepers Creepers. She would say that. And there was one kid in the class who was like, you can't say that anymore. It's a scary movie. And the teacher was like, oh, okay, I promise I won't say it ever again. And anytime she would accidentally slip up, that one girl, she would be like, you said you weren't going to say it anymore.
You promised.
Right? I just thought that was funny, Jeepers Creepers. And at the time, I'm like, what kind of a stupid movie name is that?
Listen, have you ever seen it?
I have seen it.
Okay, it's great.
Right.
It's huge. It's fantastic.
Huge. Yeah.
As far as scary movies go. And Jeepers Creepers 2 as well. Stranded School Bus, like who didn't ever have that? And we're both marching band kids, so we get it. And some of those band competitions, they're in the middle of nowhere, nothing but cornfields on this little school bus. So watching that, I was like, oh man, like I would flip out if something happened to the school bus right now and we were stuck. because what if something happens? Like, where do you go? Just like those kids that got picked off one by one. You're running through cornfields because there's nowhere to go, out in the middle of nothing. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was funny in retrospect because I was like, oh, that could have been me, although it couldn't. Mm-hmm. And I think I was one of the few people actually looking forward to a third movie that they never did.
Yeah. I think now's the time, though.
Rip Jeepers Creepers. And if you're listening, let's get a petition going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now's the time.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
So what's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know. I have a lot of different ones. I like the classics. I think my all-time favorite scary movie is The Shining. It's just, it's so good. And, a lot of people compare it to the book and they're like, well, it's terrible compared to the book. Well,
they always are.
True. But the way I look at it is sometimes if the movie's really good and the book is really good, but they're not the same, like, the adaptation's not there, I almost look at it as two separate things, like the movie in itself, great. The book in itself, great. The movie as an adaptation, 1 out of 10 stars. But I don't know. I like that.
Not a fan.
No, but I like it. It's one of those kind of psychological horror movies, and you have no idea what's coming. So, yeah.
One that came out recently, not really I guess it was a scary movie, more so a thriller maybe. It was Split. Did you see Split?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces. Yeah,
and I wanted to see it. And then I ended up chickening out whenever I was talking to my little cousin. And so at the time, she's 16 and her brother's 15. I was like, guys, we should go see it. And she goes, one of my friends, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. It's like 2 years old now, though. She said, one of my friends told me I look like the girl that gets eaten. And I was like, excuse me? Hold on, what? And she said, what? Yeah, she said I look like the girl that gets eaten. I said, he ate somebody in that movie? She said, yeah. And I was like,
it's not for me.
I'm okay. Yeah. hard pass, sweetie. I'm just gonna pass on that one. And now they're doing the Mr. Glass or whatever, Unbreakable, right? Or was the old one Unbreakable?
The old one, the first one's Unbreakable because it's
Unbreakable,
a trilogy.
Split, Glass. Yeah, because at the time they did Unbreakable, it's like, yeah, it's part of a trilogy, and everybody was like, where's the other two? And then Split came along, and everybody was like, So I might go back and watch Unbreakable and Split just to see, because that's kind of a cool way to bring it all together. So
yeah. So, Jeepers Creepers, I guess, your favorite scary movie. Is there a Is there a scary movie that you saw that and you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but was there one that you just were like, what is this? Who thought this was scary? One that was intended to be scary, but ended up not be, it's laughably funny.
Honestly, I would say all the Paranormal Activities probably are, based on what I've heard from other people. I generally don't watch those for several reasons. There's several reasons. Personally, I don't agree with Halloween and a lot of the things involved with it. But I was at a friend's house, so I watched it. But what people would always tell me before I had ever seen one is that, dude, these are hilarious. I was like, okay. So I'm at my friend's house, and I think this little boy got snatched across the floor at one point. It was something really, it's supposed to be jump scary, but I thought it was hilarious that he's getting drug across the room. Or doors slamming and people okay, first of all, this is funny to me because it's a ridiculous concept. Why are you still here?
Right.
I would have moved out yesterday. Yeah. I might come back to get my stuff. I might not. I'm going home. There's nothing else to talk about. Or this little boy is acting really creepy. Send him back across the street.
Right.
Who cares if his parents aren't home? That's his problem. Billy, get out of my house. You and your little demons, you can get on somewhere. Your imaginary friend is moving my furniture. Go home, Matilda. I'm not dealing with it. So it's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The thing about the Paranormal Activity movies for me is just they are kind of boring because nothing happens for the first hour of the movie. You wait there and it's night number 1 and nothing happens. It's shots of them in bed.
Miscellaneous shots
there's
around
outside,
the house.
right? Oh, there's the baby's crib, and then it's morning. So I was like, okay,
night number
boring.
2.
Yeah. And they don't. It slowly gets worse, but by that point you're just like, I don't care anymore.
I'm not invested.
maybe they deserve it.
Yeah.
They didn't listen to any of the signs. Any of the signs.
Now, I will say though, I think lately some renditions of scary movies have, like I said, normally I would never watch something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's realistically, after watching it, it wasn't really that scary. Like the
Wait,
jump
you're talking about the new one,
The
right?
newer
Not
one.
the
Not the
miniseries.
temporary,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The newer one, I normally probably wouldn't watch something like that, but it just like, I don't know, something about it. It just really like hooked me as far as curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept like looking at clips and looking at trailers, and then I was like finding clips of the movie online. And I was like, ooh, I gotta go see it. So the jump scares really got me, because if you've seen it, there are definitely some like, ooh,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're not like a big scary movie fan. And now like the new Halloween movie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm genuinely interested, but I do not want to go see that thing.
Let me tell you what, I'm actually kind of excited for that one.
I've heard it's really
cool.
good.
Oh, I think it's gonna be cool.
And with what they did with the franchise and making all those weird sequels and the whole lore of Michael Myers and everything got really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they like retconned that and said, "Oh yeah, this is like what, the 10th installment or whatever."
Yeah, but
it
it's a
picks up
direct sequel,
right
yeah.
after the original. So
Mhm.
I do like that. And then you bring back Jamie Lee Curtis and everything, and it's just like a nice continuation.
Mhm.
And apparently there's a really shocking like kind of, whoa, wait a minute, twist at the end.
Really?
So that'll it's leaving people feeling either good or really like, I don't know.
Go
So
see that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got my curiosity peaked, but like I said, it's not my thing. That's not my genre.
Yeah.
I don't mess with that foolishness. And I think part of the reason I don't like scary movies is because some of it I'm like, no reasonable person thinks like this.
Right.
And it's also, and I hate to be that guy, it's also always white people. And it makes me wonder, like, why do you guys think like this in movies? Why do you never say, you know what? Maybe I should just leave Haddonsville, Illinois. No, I'm just going to stay here, knowing that that's where he kills people.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, there's a guy walking around in the streets with a knife. It's one thing if it was just the costume. He has a knife in his hand. Like, you shouldn't be out trick-or-treating, period. And you're like 6 foot something. So you're too old to be trick-or-treating. Something is wrong with you. And you guys are just, or always, ooh, what was that? Let me go look. No, leave. Mind your business.
Leave.
So not only does it kind of like flare up my like scared hormones and emotions, but also like the anxiety of it. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're making me really anxious right now. Why are you doing that? No, don't do that. Oh no, he's going to do it. So I can't because it makes my heart jump through the roof because I'm like, oh, why are you doing this? And it's not good for my blood pressure.
So, did you watch Sesame Street as a child?
Of course. Who didn't?
Of course, yeah, right. I mean, so you're familiar with, Oscar the Grouch and Big Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy behind both of those characters, Carol Spinney, is a dude. He's retiring from Sesame Street after 50 years.
50 years.
50 years. I'm pretty sure that's probably the beginning because they started in the 60s. So maybe it's maybe a little less, but
Right. Ballpark figure 50.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, first of all, how old is Carol? 'Cause
I think he's
gotta be what?
mid 60s to 70 now.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
so he's
assume
not
70s.
young. Yeah.
Yeah, he's wow. Well, first of all, kudos to Mr. Spinney for doing
Right.
50 years of Sesame Street. Plenty of fond memories for the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Although I can't say that either of those were ever my favorites.
Really?
It was always Elmo. I loved.
Well,
Elmo's
of course.
Come on, Elmo was more
everybody's
entertaining, you know.
favorite. Yeah. Yeah. The forever 3-year-old.
Yeah. And I started liking Oscar the Grouch more after Dave Chappelle did a stand-up and he was referencing the Sesame Street characters. You ever heard that one?
Yeah.
I'm like, Oscar, you're so mean. Oscar, you're a grouch. He's like, I live in a trash can. What do you expect? And after that point, I was like, oh man, Oscar is pretty funny. Like, it kind of makes sense. He'd be mean. And didn't he end up living in like a recycling bin or something?
Yeah, because they were trying to make him more like recyclable, like friendly
I'm trash.
image.
My life is trash.
Yeah.
I'm not recycling junk.
They did the same thing with Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
They named him Veggie Monster because cookies is sometimes food, not an all-time
Whatever.
food.
It is
It's
an
a television show.
For children.
It's a puppet. It's not a real person.
It's
not a real person. Not a real person.
And it's not like these kids are going, oh, Oscar lives in a recycling bin.
Right, so I'm just
Go
gonna
recycle. I'm going to
Well,
recycle.
okay, if they were afraid the kids were gonna get into the trash can because of Oscar, or they're not afraid that kids are going to get on the recycling bin. I mean, yeah, it's
much
less
safer.
dirty, but
it's just paper.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the goal there was. I guess I kind of get Cookie Monster, but you could have maybe just had him eat less cookies or stop being such a crackhead for cookies. But to just be like, oh, Veggie Monster, doesn't work. Anyway, though, back to the source here.
Yeah.
I think that's really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
50 years?
And you can imagine, the puppet, I saw a video of how he actually did Big Bird. So it was his legs in the thing. He had a pair of suspenders that would, hold the bottom part of the costume on. It would be, one hand would be, I think it was the right hand. And there was a string that was connected to both arms so that when he moved his right hand down, the left one went up. So yeah, it looked like two arms were moving even though there was only one. And then his left hand would be the mouth. And he would have to do it like all the way up here above his head and move the mouth. I know. Can you imagine doing that for 50 years?
You are a national treasure.
Yeah.
Carol Spinney. And they are going to have a hard time trying to find somebody to fill those big orange shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, how do you feel about blackface? Chris, how do you feel about blackface?
How do I feel about blackface? I think it's incredibly racist and incredibly insensitive. That's
racist.
The correct answer.
Absolutely. Golden
You
star
leave the
for
room and
social
I'm like, I'm
justice.
just kidding. Like, it's such an art.
Blackface is totally okay, guys. I think it's really
totally
great. And
okay.
now that he's gone, I can admit that. Yeah, so blackface, needless to say, is pretty controversial.
Oh, yeah.
Most cases, pretty darn racist and get you in a lot of trouble, especially with the public.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a case of things biting you in the arse.
Mm-hmm.
So Megyn Kelly
Mm-hmm.
is on the spot right now for a little bit of blackface stuff. Backlash for blackface. And her thing is, I don't see how it's racist.
It's blacklash.
Oh, blacklash. Blackface blacklash. She doesn't see how it's racist if it's done like with the intention of dressing up like as a character,
right,
or trying to be like a person, you know, that she doesn't see how it's racist. And, Chris, from one perspective, I get what she's going for as far as I'm not dressing up to be like, look at me, I'm black. Like I'm, if I'm dressing up as whoever, I want to be Whitney Houston for Halloween, like wearing
Beyonce.
a slightly darker shade of, I don't know, whatever.
Concealer, whatever.
It's not concealer. Foundation.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what it
that's
is.
what, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of get what she's going for, but no. I have seen some white girls on Twitter. There were 3 of them, and they wore a lot of chains, and they wore sunglasses, and they braided their hair, and they wore like leather jackets and things, and you could understand looking at them,
right,
they're supposed to be the Migos. Not an inch of black or brown painted on their body at all, but their jewelry, the 3 of them being like in a unit, you're like, oh, they're the Migos. I get it. Now, your feelings about however they may look are totally different because you might think they look ridiculous, whatever, but you get what they were doing without them being offensive in any way.
Yeah.
Because regardless of your intent, offensive is offensive. Like, if I'm your white friend and I say the N-word, thinking, yeah, we're boys. Your intent wasn't to offend me, but it's not okay that you said it. So I understand what you're going for, Megyn Kelly, but stop.
Well, the other thing is like, can't you just dress up as somebody else? Why does it have to be that? Why does it have to be Beyonce? Why does it have to be Diana Ross? Why does not that their costume was bad, but why does that have to be the Migos? Like,
right.
Just find somebody else. There are plenty of characters out there for you to dress up as.
You can be anybody you want to be.
Right.
You can be anybody. You can be somebody with a mask on, and I can't tell what you look like.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Be Spider-Man. Be Batman. And a little white chin, a little black chin, whatever.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can be anybody.
He can be anybody.
Spider-Man is in your heart.
Spider-Man is who you are inside.
Who you are inside is what makes you Spider-Man. Yeah, and I will say, though, one thing I don't necessarily agree with is calls for people's jobs.
Yeah.
They must lose their job. Okay,
right.
like, I will defend her in the sense that this is about intentions or intent.
Right. Okay.
So it's not like she was caught up doing something racist or like blatantly being offensive. It was something that was done maybe in poor taste or not with the best judgment, but it wasn't out to get at anybody.
Right. Well, and my understanding is that it was in conversation. It wasn't like she was the single person on camera saying, you know, like, we're going to talk about blackface. Like, it was a conversation with like one or two other people on the show, and it was, you know, like we're doing right now. You know, it was a conversation.
They just took the snippets of you talking about blackface. What?
They go back to the beginning where I say it's totally okay.
It's totally okay.
Yeah, but
co-host of Non-Experts podcast says blackface is totally acceptable. I did not say that. Listen to the podcast.
We have the evidence. Play.
I got receipts.
But yeah, I agree. Like, you know, it's her career. It's her job. Like, let's maybe go easy on her.
It's one of those cases where if you haven't done anything really that's just so horrible, I don't feel like that's okay. And I think black people, listen to me now, if you haven't been listening, we have to stop trying to get people to lose their jobs just because we feel like something's genuinely unacceptable when it's not something that big. Like, if she was on tape calling somebody the N-word or being blackface with the intention of hurting feelings and being racist and offensive, absolutely. This ain't that. You know, it's not that deep. So stop calling for jobs. It's not necessary to lose somebody's job. I think unless they do something just ridiculous, it's not okay. Or like with the Kathy Griffin thing, when she did that weird like photo shoot with the Trump head, that's totally okay because you took it way too far. Like even if you don't like him, that's offensive. Like that's way too far. But if she just said something like, "Oh, I can't stand Trump," you shouldn't be like, "Oh, she should lose her job." You know. So I feel like if people don't go too far across any political boundaries as far as correctness goes, it's not that serious. Calm down.
Yeah. Bottom line, blackface.
Never
racist.
Acceptable. Racist in all cases. Just don't do it. Like, take the Nike slogan and add the NT on the back of the DO. Just don't do it. Wait. Shoot. You have to add another D. You know what I meant. You know what I was going for. Whatever.
So, friends, right?
How many of us have them?
We should all have some friends.
Ones we can depend on.
That's
Let's
right.
Be friends. Anyway, Friends.
Friends, the TV show.
Right.
I'm a big fan.
Clap, 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 clap.
That's right. So one of the actors from Friends, his name is David Schwimmer. He played Ross on Friends. He has a very unique face. You recognize it immediately when you see it, right? You're like, oh, that's David Schwimmer.
I'm starting to put it together now, actually.
Okay, yeah. You say, oh, no, that's Ross. So apparently there was a thief from Blackpool, England, who was caught on surveillance camera stealing a bunch of stuff, and he looks very, very, very similar to David Schwimmer. And I don't think you've seen these pictures yet, so I'm going to show them to you and get your genuine reaction, okay? So here's David Schwimmer.
Right.
Right? You know that face. That's the guy.
What? This is actually him.
That's the thief, yeah.
No.
That's not David Schwimmer.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
He looks exactly like him, doesn't he?
Shut up.
Doesn't he?
This cannot be the thief.
It is. It's not David Schwimmer. Doesn't he look exactly like him?
I thought this was like an actual picture of David.
Oh, no.
Next to the...
Oh, no.
What? That is uncanny.
He looks just like him, doesn't he?
Okay, so they always say we all have a lookalike out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They need to, whenever he gets out of jail, of course, they need to talk as far as like, who's your family? Somewhere along the line, there has to be a common, because guys, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way really to show these during a podcast, but you have to see these. These are, we'll post it. We'll post it on our Instagram. It's ridiculous. This is... I'm glad you waited to show me this because I didn't think I was going to be this blown away. I thought it'd be like kind of like, okay, I see it. But no, this is like ridiculous.
Isn't that almost look exactly like him?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
No, that cannot not be him. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Good news is that, it's not David Schwimmer. David Schwimmer said he was not in England or anywhere close to England at the time. So somebody needs to look into David Schwimmer's personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, does he ever get that? And do people see him and go, "Oh, it's David Schwimmer"?
Yeah, and he's probably like, "No, I get the old time. Stop it."
It's not mine.
No. They don't say no. They just say no.
No. It's like NOAR or something. It's just funny because we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. No.
This is why people hate Americans. This right here. This type of banter. We do not say no. We say no. Like, okay, guys, we get it.
But it sounds the same.
Yeah. So, no, that's actually quite interesting. I wonder how many times he's gotten that. Like,
probably a lot.
Are you Ross? Ross? And he's like, no.
No.
Honestly, don't be a thief. Fly yourself out to New York or Vegas, and
you can make a lot of money.
People would bump into you all the time.
I was Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, you could get pictures.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I guess the good news is that if they do decide to do a Friends reunion and David Schwimmer's like, "No thanks, guys," they know who to call.
Just don't talk. Just be like in passing.
What's wrong with Ross? Oh, throat problems.
Yeah, he had throat cancer and he lost his vocal.
That's dark.
So yeah,
and that's where we're catching up with the Friends. They're all like old and ailing, and
that's how they started. It's like, all right, and that was Catching Up with Friends. Thank you. Never again.
It's a one-off, like one episode
10
deal.
minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes top. We're going. Yeah, David, stop robbing stores and telling people that wasn't you. You're a liar. I've seen the pictures. You're a liar. It is your favorite part of the show.
Always.
If it isn't your favorite, it's definitely our favorite. Who doesn't love good news you can't use? Who doesn't love Florida?
Yeah.
Now, when you put the two together, you tend to get some really crazy and interesting things.
Oh, yeah.
So, this week in Florida news.
Yeah.
A Frontier Airlines flight out of Orlando International Airport to Cleveland was delayed Tuesday night after a woman boarded a plane with an unnamed animal. Well, I won't say the species right now. The animal's name is Daisy, and it's her emotional support animal. Now, Chris, what are some of the animals you think of when you think emotional support?
I think dogs.
Yeah, little dogs.
I think cats.
Okay.
Other than that, I really maybe a pig.
Ferrets.
Yeah. Ferrets. I've seen pigs. I've seen people clean pigs.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't. That's all I can think of.
And these are usually animals like that are domesticated, or it's not hard to get them. Like you can get a pig, or I guess apparently ferrets. You can get those. These aren't just things you randomly see out on the street or just moving around in Florida. I've never actually. Anyway, so moving on. Cindy noted in her reservation that she was going to bring her emotional support animal. She didn't say what animal that was. And then they found out and they were like, hey, these are not allowed on Frontier flights. This is not acceptable, ma'am. And here's the real kicker. All right. Drum roll, please. The animal was a squirrel. Cindy thought that a squirrel was an emotional support animal. Now, first of all, I must say to all those of you listening, the only people I have ever seen with squirrels are crackheads. 100% factual. Every video or picture I've seen with somebody holding a squirrel or walking a squirrel on some type of leash or having any type of bond with the squirrel, they have been crackheads. So this really makes me wonder what Sydney has going on personally, the way that she was able to get this squirrel as her animal. Because either A, you're a crackhead, or B, you somehow stole it, or C, you stole it. How do you just stumble upon a squirrel and then decide, well, hey, little buddy, I'm going to domesticate you. I got a whole bunch of acorns at my house, and we're going to have a ball.
I need some emotional support.
You're going to stay with me.
You're going to be mine.
Yeah, so rodents, which would include a squirrel, are not allowed on Frontier flights. So the flight was delayed, of course. And of course, like any person in 2018 who is just genuinely offended and hurt, I must fight for my right to have my squirrel. I refuse to get off of this flight. I will not do it. You should let me fly with my little rodent all the way from Orlando to Cleveland. I deserve to have this little weird squirrel. I don't even know how you domesticate one of those things. I don't know. So the police had to be called, of course, so they can come deal with her. And that's how that stuff always goes. It's weird. The squirrel is staying with her daughter now. I don't know really. I wonder how the family feels about the squirrel.
It's like, probably that one aunt where you're like, we don't talk about her, but she's a little out there.
Well, imagine your little Monica at school, and who knows how old Monica is. I'll just say little Monica because she's the child here. Oh, your mom was on the news yesterday. You guys have a squirrel.
Right.
Like, oh, man.
Just when I was making friends.
It's almost like tripping and your spaghetti falls out of your pocket. Like, now your career's ruined. Everybody knows you're the weird family that has a pet squirrel for emotional support. So, I don't know. Just what are your thoughts on this?
If I was a passenger on that plane and we had to get off the plane because of her, that is the most infuriating thing to me. And that hasn't really, that really hasn't happened to me yet on an airplane. The only thing that's came close was we had already taken off and there's something wrong with the plane. And they're like, yeah, we're going to have to land and, make an emergency landing. And of course, in that situation, you're like, oh my God, this might be my time. But no, like, if it was something like that, I would be extremely angry because I'm probably like running late or, I have to be there at a certain time and, all this stuff. Like, who wants to deal with that? Not me.
Just get off. Please, just get off the plane. Unless it is just some ridiculous reason they're asking you to leave, just get off. People are tired of sitting around because you want to act a squirrel and not get off the plane. So take your nutty butt off the plane so we can proceed to our destination in Cleveland. We got places to be. We don't need no emotional support. And if we do, we probably got dogs and cats, normal domesticated things that people expect whenever you say emotional support animals. Take your squirrel. First of all, let him back free. Maybe he can find some friends and be like, hey, y'all teach me how this whole thing works. Like out in the wild. I've been at the crib. Like this is really different for me. Just stop. Stop. I hate seeing dumb stories with dumb people, and I definitely hate seeing stories where people like, I'm not getting off this plane.
Guess what you are.
Woman. Yes, you are. And you realize nobody's going to be like, okay, fine, you can stay. No, you're going to get off. It's a matter of how and when. Either we're going to walk you off, we're going to escort you off, or you will be removed by force. You're going to get off this plane, man. It's not really optional. So, guys, don't bring squirrels to the airport. Moral of the story. Probably wouldn't try a pig. I don't think that would fly because pigs don't fly. All right. So, it is that time.
Yeah.
We ask each other mind-boggling questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes very deep.
Yeah.
Insightful. Sometimes very stupid.
Yeah.
Sometimes just plain old funny, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm
so,
ready.
My question for you this time.
Okay.
And this is a giving up game.
Okay.
You can have one of these things lost and have the other three. So choose wisely.
Okay.
So on this list, there's money. Just money, period.
Okay.
You can't go without it.
No.
So you're going to have to keep it, right? There's your technology. All your little Apple knickknacks, your little MacBook and your watch and your phone.
Yeah.
All of that. Then there's love.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's music.
Why are you going to do that to me?
Which one do you give up? Music,
Okay.
love, money, technology.
I don't know.
That's a rough one, right?
Okay, if I give up money, And see, then because you're gonna be like, oh well, money's not important. I'm sorry, but it is.
It is.
In this world, it is.
Got to stay somewhere.
Okay, technology. You kind of need that also. It's kind of needed nowadays. Love. See, you need that too. You need that too, and you definitely need. What was the last one?
Music.
Music, yeah. And music, yeah, you definitely need music. I couldn't go without music. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to go the way that most people would, and I'm going to say I'm going to give up money. Because, in order to have a, quote, successful life, it's more about the experience. It's more about the people, and it's more about the connection that you have with other souls out there.
Okay.
So, I'd like to have my technology. That's, that's fine. I definitely need love from anybody and everybody.
That's fair.
And, music is really important to me, so I can't go without music.
Just another part of me. Well, I'm going to puzzle you with this and see if you keep that same energy. So, without money, you have no place to stay. So, you don't have the funds to support this technology because phone bill, can't afford it. Internet, can't afford it. So, at that point, your phone's just kind of a shell.
Yeah, that's true.
So is your computer. And then you can't purchase more music. And even if you could, you don't have any service because you can't afford any cellular coverage.
Right.
So,
given that and thinking about that reflection, thanks for throwing that curveball.
loophole.
Then in that case, I probably would give her technology because if I have money, then I could just buy new technology. Unless that's a rule.
It's a rule.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
You don't get to rub the genie lamp and ask for more wishes.
That's fine.
My first wish is more wishes. No.
That's fine. Like those, I would not want to give up love or music. So if I had to pick money, then yeah, I'll take your money.
That's fair.
I'll take your money.
See, I asked because I had a similar question in a group chat I'm in, and I was asked, you give up gaming, money, the barber, or your girl/girls. And I was like, ooh. As much as I love video games,
I would cut that one out too.
I can't go without girls. You've seen me when I haven't been to the barbershop in a while.
Oh, yeah.
You know I don't like my hair just getting like crazy.
Yeah.
And money, shoot, money ain't gonna hurt my feelings. So I gotta keep money around. I was like, yeah, I have to like go to gaming. I thought about that. I was like, dang, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do anymore. Let's play Fortnite. No. Let's play 2K. No. We can play this little game off it. No. But I'd take it. It's not a bad deal. So I wanted it to be a little more tricky for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was an easy choice. Somebody said the barbershop, and I was like, no, you're crazy. You're crazy.
You're crazy. Funny story. I did not start going to like an actual barber until I was like, I think when I started college. No, my mom had always cut my hair for me. Just because it was like, I don't want to waste money and go, and pay, like $12, $13. Well, that's if you're going to like one of those kind of chain places. Now I go to like an actual like barber salon place and it's like $20 and I'm like, okay. But yeah, my mom would always cut my hair. I think right through high school. And then I was in college and I'm like, Mom, I have to pay my own way now.
I have to be a man.
I have to be a man and make my own decisions with my hair.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did she at least do a good job?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was.
The I mean says otherwise.
It was basically just she cuts it all the same length and then it grows out and
Even
then cut it all
around,
the same length and yeah.
Did you have a buzz cut?
Yeah. Like in the summer, it was short like that.
I'd love to see those pictures.
No, that's okay.
Hard pass.
That's okay because the hair's not the worst thing on me. It's the teeth. I had the buck teeth. So did my sister. We both
Timmy
did.
Turner.
Yeah. When I had a weird like looking face too. I mean, I do still, but it was a little more weird looking back then.
shirt is great.
Everyone kind of looked weird in the early 2000s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't just me. Everyone kind of looked a little weird, and I don't know.
'Cause that's where we were all going through our odd phase.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Early 2000s, we were all like, you know, moving into the like tens,
Yeah,
like the teens.
We're like 7 and 8 going into
Right, we're getting close to 10, and we're getting closer to puberty, and we're going through all the weird like, oh, what? I look funny.
I look funny.
Looking in the mirror like, what's wrong with me? I've never been so self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, it could have been worse. You could have had a buzz cut. I mean, a bowl cut. You could have had a bowl cut.
Yeah, no, I missed that train because that was more like my cousin when he was, because he was born in like 92.
Right.
So like he got that big time. But no, I dodged a bullet with that one. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But yeah, interesting question.
Yeah.
It made me really think about it. Now I'm probably going to go home and cry.
You'd be up all night, laying on your back with your hands on your stomach, like,
Yeah.
what would I pick? Well, if I went without this, I could, no.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I lost, you'd be thinking about it for a
Yeah.
while.
Well,
Those are the good questions. They make
yeah.
you think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that is it, my friend.
It is it.
So there's the end of the road.
Had a blast.
Absolutely.
Had a blast.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for. It was great. It was
Yeah.
great. Also, friendly reminder: no squirrels.
No scrolls.